It's interesting. I've been doing these videos on how artificial intelligence is affecting the financial services industry at the ground level, at the financial advisor level, those of us who are actually serving families and individuals, delivering comprehensive financial services. How on earth can artificial intelligence help with that? I have a number of videos on that topic, but this video I want to address the most common question that has come in, which sort of surprises me, but we're going to fix it in this video. The question is, Mark, has artificial intelligence taken over what you've historically taught? And now you have some new program teaching artificial intelligence rather than what you've historically been known for? And the answer is no, like capital no, full stop, absolutely not. So for those of you that have worked with us for decades, this will all make perfect sense. For those of you that have no idea what we're known for, no idea what I'm talking about, you'll have a little bit better understanding of what we do and how AI is affecting this by going through this video. Let me start with the problem. I noticed back in the year 2000, this was 25 years ago, I noticed that this term, comprehensive financial services, honestly, I was just curious, what does it even mean? Is there an industry agreed upon definition of this term? And it turns out, no, there's nothing like that. And flash forward to today, there still is no agreed upon definition for this term. Yet, and this has been consistent for over 2 decades, that up to 30% of financial advisors do hold themselves out to the public as offering this service, comprehensive financial services. But it means different things to different people. So what I did was I took what ends up now in retrospect being a novel approach. And if others in the industry have done this, I'm unaware of it. At the financial advisor level, what do we actually do to deliver this comprehensive financial services? What is the checklist of things that pulls all that together in a coherent, concise, honest term? Like, I offer truly comprehensive financial services, and it's backed up by something that I can promise to the client. I didn't just sit down and map it out. I started to do that. I've been doing this with affluent clients for a long time. Let me just map it out. And then it occurred to me, I wonder what my best clients think. So it started small. I picked my top 3 clients. I sat them down, and they were quite kind to give me their time, but I made it clear this is off the clock. Just be candid with me. I want to know what you really think. And I need to ask some questions about this term, comprehensive financial services. And I told each of them, I'm interested primarily in 2 things. What does it mean when what they're promising and what you're asking for is this term, comprehensive financial services? What do you expect to get in return? And the second question was, and what would you be willing to pay the most for? So it occurred to me early on, just with first it was 3 clients. Then I sat down with 5 clients. That it ended up being 12 clients over 3 years. We had these focus groups, and it was just mind-blowingly useful. But it occurred to me early on, just when I was dealing with a handful of clients, that sure, comprehensive financial services, it means this. Like, they all had these kind of, let's call it a wish list of things that they would love for a financial advisor to do. It occurred to me as they were describing all this, it was good stuff, all of it, but expensive. I was thinking, cha-ching, in the back of my mind, what would it cost to actually deliver all of this stuff? So that's when it came up with the question, and what would you be willing to pay the most for? That came up in a variety of ways. I started by asking, on your list of 12 things that define comprehensive financial services, can you list the top 5 that you'd be willing to pay the most for? How about the top 3? How about the number 1 thing you'd be willing to pay the most for in this service from an advisor? And that's where it was really interesting. Over the course of 2 years, from January 1st of 2000 through October of 2002, so it was like 34 months. What I did was I dialed all this in. Since then, my method has been the same. It's been unchanged, with AI, without AI. The only advisors that are interested in me and what I'm teaching is they want something that's not available anywhere else in the world. Advisors who say, can you take me step by step through this method of yours? And the way I describe it is this: the outcome of all of that has been, and this goes back 25 years, we developed 10 client deliverables. There are 10 client deliverables that we promise to clients. We will do these 10 things every year. And each of those 10 things are covering 5 areas of financial life: investment management or money management, financial planning, which is the client's stated goals and objectives. We've got tax planning, estate planning, and what I call risk and safety, which includes insurance planning. So you've got these 5 areas that are spread across these 10 client deliverables. So we say, Mr. and Mrs. Client, we will do these 10 things on an annual basis. And underneath these 10 client deliverables are a checklist of items that we just cycle through every year, and there's 142 of them. So there's a 142-point checklist backing up 10 client deliverables that I guarantee we will cycle through annually. And the payoff to you, Mr. and Mrs. Client, are 3 outcomes. We will promise that you'll always be on track to your goals. You will never have any financial surprises, and you'll be making better decisions in all areas of finance than you've ever felt before. And there are some ground rules, and I'm happy to share it. It's in other videos. The ground rules, just briefly, are: how can I guarantee they'll be on track to their goals? Because they guarantee to come in 3 times a year with every financial change in their life ready to share with me. I need both of them there. I need all their financial documents, and I need them to be very candid with me about any shifts or changes in their financial situation. And if they'll do that, then I'll guarantee they'll be on track to their goals. Or better said, and I explain this to them in the ground rules, it's better said that things do drift off track naturally, but we will catch it every 4 months. And when you come in, if you've drifted off track, I'll already have the recommendations to get you back on track already created before you come in. So you'll always be on track to your goals. You'll never have any financial surprises. How on earth can you promise that? It's because the ground rules are, parenthetically, that you will not experience any financial surprises that could have been avoided by proper planning. And again, we're back to number 1. They need to come in at least 3 times a year and be highly candid with me on everything financial. Bottom line, we have these outcomes that we promise to clients. This is a structured approach. Advisors have come to our program, and it's an inexpensive program. If all you want to do is understand how to do all of this, it's $200 a month to month, cancel anytime. I just take you through the process. I have a 30-day quick start, so you can go through the whole thing in 30 days. And if that's all you need just to understand it, then you can bounce out at that point. But there are advisors who stay in the program because they have access to me, and for their own reasons, they stay in that program. But in the case of an advisor in action mode, we have the Financial Advisor Mastery Program. It's the same content, but it's different in application. In the Financial Advisor Mastery Program, it's working directly with me. In essence, I join your team. And it boils down to 2 situations. You've either got a client that you'd like to impress and you'd like to implement this methodology, but you can't do everything at once, and you don't have a team built at this point in all these 5 areas of finance. So the question is, how do I implement this in a way that makes sense for your firm, given your resources and time? I go under the theory that you've got clients coming in anyway. If you've got a client that you're trying to impress, you've got them scheduled to come in at some frequency anyway. Let's work with that. Have you list all the clients that are coming in the next 60 days? And in the Financial Advisor Mastery Program, we take them one at a time and we start implementing this method, but in priority order. We start with a few handful of things that are most important to clients. I've got all the data, so we know where to focus first, just to keep the clients impressed while we're building out the rest of this structure of planning. But that has not changed. So Mark, with AI, are you now teaching AI instead of that? No. I've got this group called the Financial Advisor Mastery Program that I'm joining your team, and we are together, client by client, we are implementing this method. I've got this client coming in. I need to knock their socks off. So together we do that. It's very natural. In that group, I try to keep that group under 20 advisors. I like to keep it small so that we can work together more closely. AI is changing my model. It's pressing the limits of how far an advisor can go with maybe just an administrative assistant, or maybe with somebody on your team that's a financial planning subject matter expert, knowledgeable in the financial planning software and so forth. Can you push the envelope? How much can we push AI to do what I think of as an 80-20? Let's start there. Let's do the 20% of the planning that represents 80% of the value to the client. It's more streamlined, it's easier to focus on with the client because they're understandable concepts as opposed to complex underlying money management, efficient frontiers. No, these are the things that clients care about most. And what I've noticed since getting into AI, that 20% of the planning that the clients value 80%, and the clients also claim they can't get these 20% of the questions that matter to them answered by most advisors. I think the big breakthrough in my research was the most important questions that matter most to clients that they're willing to pay the most for. They've given up even asking those questions because they can't seem to get advisors to give a straight answer on these questions. So what do? We focus on those first. Let's get those answered first. And all I'm saying is AI is doing a really good job at focusing on that small percentage of planning that matters most to the clients. And I've got a small group in place right now that's not going to exceed 12 advisors, but it's a group within the group. We're doing the same thing we've always done. We've just got a small group. I call it the AI small group. We've got a group of advisors in our program who are really interested in AI, and they want to work with me directly to push the limits of the technology and see what we can get out of AI. But the end is the same. We want to deliver truly comprehensive financial services in a way that consistently exceeds ideal clients' expectations. And if you do it the way I recommend, within 12 weeks, you can be acknowledged as the number one advisor in your market, mainly because the way clients define the number one advisor in your market is totally different from the way advisors define the number one advisor in the market. So if I were to ask you, who's the number one advisor in your market? You're going to think about it and you'll say something, but be honest. What are you actually measuring? Maybe production, revenue. If it's an advisor in your own firm and you have some insight as to what their revenue numbers are, maybe that's how you're measuring. I don't know. That's not how clients measure number one. And that's all I've ever cared about. How can I be the advisor that I say I'm the number one in the market? And they go, really? That's cocky. For example, we'll return your call in 2 hours or less, or I'll buy you a Tesla. How about that? I'm not saying that's specifically a recommendation. I'm just using that example, as I often do in these videos, to give you a simple example of if you told a potential client something like that, would that immediately put you in a category alone, away from all other advisors, in a category of one? Yes. If they then went out after that meeting and interviewed 10 advisors in the community and said, will you promise to return my call within 2 hours or less, or you'll buy me a Tesla? What do you think they're going to say? So it's a concept. I'm just giving you an example of how you can really streamline becoming number one in your market in the mind of the client. And to the point where if they go around and shop it and what you're promising and pledging to the client as far as outcomes, they're not going to find other advisors who are willing to live up to all the things you're pledging. They're either unable because of their firm or compliance, or they're unwilling, and most are unwilling. But either way, whether they're unable or unwilling, you're the beneficiary. You're the number one in the market. So I hope this helps. We have not changed our business. We are the same as we always have been. We just have a small group. And if you'd like to join it, let me know. But we've got a small group of advisors who are curious about AI and they're not afraid of it. And they're willing to work a little more closely with me directly to see how far we can push this technology for the purpose of benefiting clients and our own advice that we're giving to our best clients. So hope this was helpful, and we'll see you in the next video.